I'm Kelly Vaughn, and welcome to Inside Indy. We have a very special guest in our studio today. He is from the Congo, a refugee from the Congo, and he has a phenomenal story. And with there being so much information in the news today about refugees and immigrants, he has a story to tell you. And I want to go ahead and introduce you to him. He is Pastor Emmanuel Masinga. Welcome to Inside Indy.
Thank you so much.
Your church is here in Indianapolis.
Yes.
And the name of it, tell everybody.
It's the Grace Tabernacle Ministries.
All right, Grace Tabernacle Ministries.
Yes.
And now when I say in one sentence you're a refugee from the Congo, and in another breath we're saying you're a pastor, which means you have made tremendous strides while here in the country. But before we talk about your ministry, tell us about you, where you're from, home, and how you ended up here in these United States of America.
Yes, it's a long story, but I'll make short. By nationality, I come from the Republic Democratic of Congo. That is my mother country, and I love it, but I'm no longer there. And in 1999, I get shot, but the war broke up in 96. We grown up in a village, and the civil war going around. Sometimes we pass night in the bush, another day we're at home, and the civil war keep going like that. In 99, I get shot in my left leg, and that time, and my daddy came, took me to another country in Rwanda, and from where I get shot to Rwanda, it took 145 miles, and they put me in a truck. 10 days, I have never seen a doctor. And when I get in Rwanda, that time the Rwanda was come from a genocide. There was a lot of doctors volunteer there. I meet one doctor from Germany. His name is Jonas Bikov. He's the one who saved my leg. And since that time, I have never go back to my country. I become a refugee in Rwanda. I'm from Rwanda to Kenya, and Kenya to United States.
Wow. Let's talk about the leg injury. What, you were shot?
Yes, I've been shot.
By whom? And when...
Militian. There's a militian. In Congo, the government is corrupt. The government have a militia, they fight, and the community fight. That means there's a lot of guns everywhere, and the people, they are fighting. That's time there was a lot of civil war going around. That's the time I get shot.
Okay. So at the time you were shot, did you think you would die?
Yes. I was with my colleagues, my other classmates, other village boys. They died. I was laying here, and the couple around me, there was a couple bodies died.
So how did you survive?
Yes, I would think I'm already dead, and the blood was everywhere. And when I was asleep there, some people, they get there, and they say I'm alive, and they didn't have to take me to the hospital. There was no hospital. And they came here, they carry me, they call someone who has a truck, and they put me in the truck to the hospital. When I get to the hospital, they didn't have any doctor there. They said they need to take off my leg. And I say no. They call my dad, came, and my dad borrowed the neighbor's truck, put him in the truck to take me to the hospital.
Wow. So you didn't play dead, you were just unconscious.
Yeah, I was unconscious, and I see people, they're coming, they keep crying outside, down, and they come, they pick me, and my leg was pieces because they shot me a couple times in my left leg.
We see that on the news here in the States all the time, but I've never met anybody who's been the target of the militia, and then they're down, and you see people wounded, and you see them carrying them to trucks, as you're saying, as your dad did, and so we don't understand that at all, do we?
Yeah, to many people it's a news. To me, it's not news. It's my life. I survived that, and I know what people they go through. That's why I have a passion for my people. I know what they go through because that's my life.
Okay. Yes. What are they worrying about there? And let me say this too, that we don't go through that unless you're in the military. United States military, the armed forces obviously come into that kind of thing often when they're, especially if we're at war or in combat with somebody. But what is going on within the Congo in terms of, there are two factions coming against each other, several factions? What's going on?
There's several communities, they fight themselves, and there's the people fight the government. Now the government fight with the opposition. When they fight there, and the community fight. That means Each province, each village, each where there's a lot of militias, thousands of militias.
So just for control?
Then
or are they,
it's very hard to control. That's now there is an army for United Nations, almost over 25,000 in Congo, right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And so the government set up there, it is a democracy? It's a
Yeah, I cannot say it's a democracy. It's not enough democracy because, like as you know, the president's supposed to step down around last year. Now he took over. It's still going on. That means we cannot control the government. The population, they don't have a voice.
Okay.
That's what I
So
can
they don't
say.
have that smooth transition of power type
yes.
thing going.
Yes.
So okay. So from the Congo to Rwanda to
Yes, when
Kenya-
I get shot, my daddy took me to Rwanda, and that's where Rwanda where I get survive and save my leg.
Okay. So, and again, as a person from Indiana, somebody from the United States, we're still not sure how, when a refugee comes, how that happens. So tell us how you ended up here.
Yes, that's my life. I go through. First of all, you need to know you're gonna wait a lot of years. Myself, I wait over 5 years. The CIS, you cannot control them. You cannot tell them you are sick or you want a new life. You need to wait. Always, when you start the interview, they check if you're not a terrorist, if you are not a liar, if you don't want to take an opportunity about the refugees. They do the interview and your case is still pending until they check you. They found you are not a terrorist, you are not a liar. What you are telling them is literally the truth history. Now they want to save you. They want to save the really good the victims. I understand them because many people, they take opportunity to say they are refugees when they are not refugees. I understand why the case is going slow, very slow. Some people take 10 years. To me, it takes over 5 years.
Okay. So you found out what day, and what did they say? Who comes to you and tells you that?
They call you when you are in the refugee camp or somewhere. To me, I was in Kenya, and they call me. They say the United States want to do an interview for you under United Nations. They check the interviews under United Nations after they found the victims, those who have been there a long time, and they call you to embassy, which is they call it JVA, and the immigration CIS. They interview the first time, they do the second time, the third time. And the funny things, they keep asking you the same question. And I remember asking them, why you ask me one question more than 10, over one question? And they say, we want to make sure you know what you're talking about and you are not lying. Is literally your story. Now I realize when I get here, they're making sure you don't lying. That's why they keep asking you over and over. Before I was feeling nervous. Same question, my story 10 times.
Wow.
But
Like after a while, you start to get confused about your own story, right?
Yes,
right.
yes.
So they fly you here? I mean,
Yes, as soon you get approved, they do medical check. They check your blood, if you are not sick for TB, especially they check TB, and they check your whole checkup, and they teach you culture orientation. They teach you America because you know what's going on here is not what's going on the other side. Now they teach you are going to America, you're going to learn this, shopping, street driving, everything.
Wow.
And after that, they're going to pay your flight, and after you get here, but you're going to pay back.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you pay back. You have to pay that.
Yeah, I'm already done. Yes.
Yeah, you're
If you
done.
don't pay that,
They're
you're gonna
gonna
go to
take you
your
back.
collection. No, they don't
No.
take you back. It's going to affect your credit,
Oh.
which we don't know anything about the credit score.
Right.
It took me 5 years to understand how to build a credit score. Because if you don't pay regularly and they finish your loan, now they teach you how you need to pay your bills and how to pay your traveling loan.
Wow.
If you don't pay, they put on your credit on your credit, and it doesn't affect your credit score.
Right. Okay.
And now after it started to affect my credit score, now I say, oh, I need to pay off.
Okay.
Now I pay off.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now you're here,
Yes.
and you end up in Indiana. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I end up in Illinois, a place called Long Island, Chicago, north of Chicago, Moline, that's area. There's a city called Quad Cities. There's a Moline, Davenport in Iowa, Long Island, that's where I was staying. And I feel passion to support my people. Even when I was in Kenya, I see the need of my people when I finish school, and I have a passion to be a minister and help my people. And I start church there to put my people together. We have people who don't speak English, who doesn't know very well Swahili, who doesn't know French, people who have never been to school even a single day. Now, my passion is to make sure my people, they get help and they worship as it's supposed to worship home. They can feel how they feel back home. That's one of my passion. And I was looking where I needed to be and help my people. And I remember 2011, November 24th, they invite me to go to speak in Dayton, Ohio. When I get here, I see beautiful city, Indiana. I haven't ever heard about Indiana. I haven't ever heard about Indianapolis. I feel like it. I feel in my heart, this is your place. And I asked my wife to come here. She said, no, we don't know anybody there. I think we don't belong there. We cannot be able to go there. We don't trust the people who live there. I said, I feel conviction in my heart. And this is God's voice in my heart. We need to go to live there. That's where we need to raise our children. And I started telling my wife we need to go there. It took me 6 months to convince my wife. That's the time I started to do research about Chicago and Illinois. And here I found there's a cost of living is good to somebody who start life. And it's good, safe place. And I convinced my friend and my family to move here, and we moved here.
Okay.
Yes.
And so now let me ask you, when you're being on the continent of Africa, and I'm sure you've heard of Michael Jackson, you know he's from the state.
Yeah.
So did you know about Indiana from Michael Jackson?
Yeah, we know a little bit. I understand a little bit, but I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
But I didn't know which location is in Indiana. And when I was, that time I cannot drive any highway. That was 2011. I was having a driver license. It was only 3 months. I cannot go on the highway. And somebody was driving me. And I see Indiana. I said, wow, this is Indiana. I think maybe it's close to California. No, here. No. Oh, this is Indiana. And when I see Indianapolis, it was night. It was shining very good. And I feel, oh, this beautiful city.
This is a place to be.
And this is a place to be and raise my children.
Okay.
That's why I moved here.
Now you have a church here in Indianapolis. Tell us about your ministry.
Yes, my ministry is about many members of our church. They are refugees from Congo, Rwanda, Burundi. We speak a similar language, and we come together, and sometimes we teach in Swahili, and sometimes I teach English. I have interpreters there, and we put them together. Yes, we don't have a master's degree in counseling, but we know what we go through, and we know what our people go through. You can go there, help them, but I know how you're going to handle the issue they have, and I know how you're going to help them. And the many members of our church, we worship as we're supposed to worship home. When we go to American churches, we are some Christian, but we have a kind of different worship. When American people, they are singing, we feel boring. We like dancing, jumping, putting hands. But when you go to America, yes, they worship. We feel good. They are worshiping God.
Okay.
But we worship different. And the second, we have all the people who move here, who want to worship as they're supposed to worship home. If they go to American church, they don't understand English. Now we make sure they understand the Word of God as it's supposed to.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about your journey and the others who have come after you.
Yes.
When we come back.
Thank you.
Grace started as a vision, a hope, a passion to bring wholeness and healing to a war-torn people. Emmanuel Musinga was born in Congo, Africa in 1977, in a small village without a grocery store, in a home without electricity or running water, in a community without a hospital. His mother gave birth to him in the bush while collecting firewood for her family. As a young person, Emmanuel went to school every other year, taking turns with his siblings, so all would have the chance to receive some education. School was expensive for a farming family, but Emmanuel's parents encouraged their 9 children to work hard in school, knowing an education could open doors to a better future. In 1996, a civil war broke out that caused great suffering to Emmanuel and his people. A year later, at the age of 20, Emmanuel was caught in the crossfire and shot twice in the leg. Amputation was the easiest treatment, but at his father's insistence, he was placed on the bed of a truck enduring a 7-day journey to a hospital in nearby Rwanda where the doctors were able to save his leg. After Emmanuel's father passed, Emmanuel was responsible to bring in an income for the family. Jobs were scarce, so Emmanuel would carry groceries, clean and cook in homes, whatever it took to put food on the table. However, many nights they all went to bed with hunger pangs. Ultimately, Emmanuel and his family fled to a refugee camp in Kenya. There, Emmanuel earned a high school diploma, desiring to become a lawyer in order to bring justice to people in Congo. He was compelled to make a difference and saw learning English as a direct route out of poverty. Emmanuel's English class was a 2-hour walk one way. During this time, Emmanuel attended a church in which his inner struggles came face to face with the words of Jesus. Up to this point, Emmanuel carried anger towards the enemy that hurt him, tore his family apart, forced him to leave his country, his belongings, and his livelihood. The bitterness grew in his soul like a thorny weed, causing resentment and a desire to get revenge. But the pastor said, "How can you be a light on a hill when your light is smeared with darkness, anger, and hatred?" Convinced God was calling him to make a change, Emmanuel chose to forgive his enemies and released the burden of making them pay for his pain. This radical reversal in Emmanuel's mind freed him to begin thinking about how he might serve his people. His eyes were opened to the needs all around him. He began dreaming of a new calling, of creating a place in which refugees could find physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. In order to further his training, Emmanuel attended and graduated from Outreach Bible College with a degree in theology. He also met and married a fellow refugee named Clementine. In 2010, while awaiting asylum through the United Nations, Emmanuel started a church in Kenya for Congolese refugees. The church was called Grace Tabernacle Ministry. They began with 7 people, and a year later they had 50 members. Once Emmanuel, his wife, and his newborn daughter were given permission to move to America, he placed a minister in charge of the fledgling church. Emmanuel's family moved to the state of Illinois. The Grace Tabernacle Ministry in Kenya has since grown to 1,000 members. Here in the United States, Emmanuel and his wife Clementine started a journey of discovery, acclimating to a new culture. In 2013, Emmanuel sensed a specific calling to the Indianapolis area. So after months of prayer, Emmanuel and his family moved. When he arrived, there were no Congolese refugees. The local aid organizations even questioned why he would come. But he knew he was called. He said, "God will bring them." And since that day, over 6 years ago, the Central African refugee community has grown to over 1,000 persons. Emmanuel's heart continued to beat strong for his people, so he implemented the vision of Grace Tabernacle Ministries here in Indianapolis. Currently, Emmanuel's church serves over 100 people on a weekly basis in the Indianapolis area. It is a lifeline for resettled refugees who have been displaced, abused, and war-torn and are now in a country that doesn't speak their language. Emmanuel is not only their minister, but their counselor, their teacher on American culture, their support in crises, their advocate, their translator, their job coach, their financial advisor, their wedding planner, funeral director, and the list goes on. Grace Tabernacle Ministry needs your financial support. Emmanuel is seeking to build a network of persons committed to making an impact in the lives of refugees. He has worked various jobs to provide for his family and needs the gift of time and resources to make GTM a thriving organization. Would you consider supporting Grace Tabernacle Ministries on a monthly basis?
back here on Inside Indy, and we're talking to Pastor Musinga of Grace Tabernacle Church here in Indianapolis. And you were about to go into telling us about your membership and who they are. They, too, many of them are refugees.
Yes.
And what life is like for them here as new arrivals to the United States.
Yes. First of all, our church is welcome everyone, but many members, they are refugees, but anyone is allowed to join us and to worship with us. That's we open for everyone. But when they get here, the life, first of all, you get shocked. First of all, the weather, the street, houses, and shopping. There's funny things they do because of the culture, but the first things is the culture shock. Yes, yes. But the good things about them, everyone is a very hard worker. They work hard to make sure they support their families. Everyone is working, but many of their job is warehouses, and they work in warehouse. Only the big challenge is about how to raise the children, and the children to do homework because they don't understand English. To help children to finish their homework is a very big challenge.
Okay,
Yes.
so how do they overcome those barriers, and what do you all do to help them with? And I don't want to be negative. Obviously, if they don't know the language, they don't know the language. So how do they overcome those?
Yeah, first of all, how my passion, I teach them to overcome those barriers. First of all, I tell them, everyone needs to be self-sufficient, to work hard, help themselves, to think they can be who they are. It's not too late. If you end up here, I tell them this is a country of opportunity. You can do what you want to do, and you can be who you want to be. It's not too late. And they work hard, they help themselves, and they keep teaching the children. The children become the interpreters for the parents. Now that's how they keep
language.
moving. They keep moving on every day. The children help them. The second, our church keeps partnering with the other churches, other communities to help one another and to support one another. Now they can learn from other churches to overcome the challenge of the culture, and keep learning English every day. That's what I do. And they're learning English to work on the street everywhere. That's why I learned English too. I remember when I was in Kenya, I was walking in the street with a pen and a paper. When I see any word I don't know, I write down. And after that, I learned how to speak. And I learned how to read and to spell it. By a couple of years, I was speaking English and spelling good.
Wow, very good.
Yes.
Okay. So you are quite busy, though, with your congregation.
Yes, I am super busy.
And so some of the things that you do to assist them, and probably a lot more than some the pastors here even do, because they don't have those same challenges that you have. So share with us those things.
I'm super busy. First of all, I have 2 jobs. And the second, I have 4 children, and I have a wife, and I'm a volunteer to the church, my church, and I'm a volunteer. They don't pay me. I work outside of the church, and I come to the church, help my people. That's my passion, that's my legacy. When I help someone to drive, when someone comes in America, you don't know how to drive. The end of the day, I see you drive your family. I think I am successful more than any pastor because I help someone from zero to be who is. I remember when someone helped me to drive, to teach me how to drive. Now, when I'm driving my family, I think I am successful more than anybody because I'm driving my family. I'm good.
Driving, other things you have to...
I teach them to drive. I teach them to do shopping. I help them to find a job, volunteer to do that. Wow. Now, I'm not doing that kind of big jobs. Before, I was teaching them to do shopping, teach them everything. But now, I'm
delegate all that.
I'm delegate because we are many people. I go on emergency. Like if someone gets a ticket with the police, I need to showing up if he doesn't know how to pay the ticket.
There you go.
Like last week, one guy get a ticket in Illinois. He didn't pay the ticket. They send the letter, they're going to arrest him. I need to go there in a court to make sure I talk to the judge.
Wow,
he
so you're a judge and the whole bit. Very quickly, how can people, if they want to help you all with what you're doing to support you, instead of traveling across the world, come and visit and be a part of who you are? How can people do that?
First of all, the biggest help we need is to welcoming us in Indiana. We feel more welcome. We have many people who join us, but it's not many. Some people, you meet someone ask you, how do you end up here? Are you a refugee? What the refugee means. That's we need people to know we're here, support us, come visiting us, share with us what they can share, and make us they welcoming us, give us a hand, smile. We are working, we are helping one another. We join the community. We need people to join us, to show us love and welcoming us.
Okay, and so they can give you a call, phone number?
They can give me my call to 317-531-9451.
Okay, or Grace.
Tabernacle Ministries.
Okay, it's on the screen. So thank you so much, Pastor Musinga, for joining us here on Inside Indiana. It's taking us
Thank you so
on
much.
your journey.
I love Indiana so much. This is my home.
We appreciate that.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. And thank
Yeah.
you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I'm your host, Kelly Vaughn. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.